Hey everybody, it is Cody here from Michigan Independent Weekly and Rasslin Rage. Make sure you smash the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We are now also on Podbean, so make sure you head on over there and follow us over there as well, and listen to the show as well as follow us and do all that good stuff there. Multiple forums now, good stuff. I am here with Robyn Nelson, the host of Wrestle Popcast and Beyond the Bell for Future Great Wrestling out of Ohio. Sir, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining me.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. It's just glad to come on here and finally get to talk to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of mutual friends.
We have lots.
Yeah, we have a lot of mutual friends. You've been podcasting for quite some time now too, on top of being involved with independent wrestling.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 2 years, and I've been part of Future Great Wrestling since it first began. It's going over a year.
Right.
Yeah, it's about a year because we just had our anniversary show, Origins 2.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. First of all, you have two things going, well, multiple things going on, really, not just two. There's like all kinds of things going on with you, man. You got a couple podcasts, don't you?
Yeah, I got Wrestle Popcast, of course. And then I also got Robyn Nelson's Files 13 podcast about the paranormal.
There's two. Now,
yeah, and I also got Future Great Wrestling Beyond the Bell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which you could go on Shockwave.
I was gonna say, wait a minute. You got some other stuff
hey,
too.
You didn't give me time to say the third one. I had to get the paranormal one too.
Right. All right. Yeah, so you got three, shows going on. And I'm sure, well, right now we're under, are you essential?
Yeah, I have an essential full-time job, and I also have an essential part-time job. I DoorDash.
Oh, dang, bro. Man, you are a hustler.
Yes, I am. You got to make that money.
I guess so, man. You are hustling, man. You got 3 shows, you got 2 jobs. You're crazy. Now, you do the podcasting thing. What got you into podcasting?
What got me into podcasting was, of course, growing up, I was a fan of, WWF during the 80s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and all the way through my adulthood, through the early 90s, the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
And then after that, I just got a little bit bored of pro wrestling for a while, just gave up on it a little bit. And then over here in Cincinnati, I met Cody Hawk, Sean Casey, and a bunch of them when they were wrestling for CWAI in Cincinnati before Future Great Wrestling was a promotion. And the person that got me into podcasting was Gary Powell, who goes by, the systematic Eric, the Paranormal Fallen, but now he's going by Weapon X Fallen now. So he's the one I became good friends with. Started talking about wrestling, and he's like, well, since you love wrestling and just got back into the indies, why don't you just do a podcast? And I was like, how do you do a podcast? So Gary goes, you can do it. So he pushed me doing it, and there I am today.
That's awesome, man. And I was working at Sam's Club for a while on a Midnight's crew there, and I was doing stocking, and we were allowed to take. They have the the big Bluetooth speaker, like the big huge 15.
Yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyways, we were allowed to use those while we were stocking shelves, and I would jam your podcast, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. I was listening to. Hold on a minute. I don't remember his name, but he had something to do with the Jarretts. It was something to do with a woman Jarrett, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember.
Oh, you mean Jeff Jarrett's grandmother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Jeff Jarrett's cousin,
yes.
And he came out the book about Teenie Jarrett.
Yeah.
About how she ran the show, and then all the wrestlers respected her.
Right. Yeah.
And then she kept a close tight ship. She didn't want any of the wrestlers to be messing with any women during the show. It's always professional. When you're in town, you always stay in character wherever you're at. T.D. Jarrett, yeah.
Yep. So I listened to that one, and there was a couple other ones that I listened to too, but I remember that one the most.
T.D. Jarrett, yeah.
But it was a good one, man. I enjoyed it. So before, well, we talked a little bit about podcasts, but tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Like I know you're down in Ohio, but like, dude, I know you like comic books and stuff, but man, what's up, man?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from California. I
Oh,
grew up in
dude, see now I learned something new. I didn't know that.
yeah, I grew up in California. I grew up in a town called Bakersfield, California.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Where Merle Haggard and Buck Owens and all that was from. All the country. I grew up there, and in my early 20s, in the early 90s, I moved up to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Nope. Oh yeah.
So it was when I first came to Ohio, it was like a culture shock for me.
Right. There's a guy up here that I'm friends with. He lives in Michigan, and he's out from He's from California, and he retired here, so in Michigan. So,
and then I've been a comic book fan since I was like 7 years old. My first comic I picked up was a Hanna-Barbera Laugh Olympics comic.
Nice.
So, and then from there, I graduated to Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan.
Not a bad one to be a fan of.
No, I've been reading the Batman DC comics from the 80s all the way up to today. And I'm a little sad because, the comic book stores are closed.
Yeah.
But here in Ohio, retail stores are opening back in May 12th. So my comic shop's opening up. So, I'm going to be having a big fat hole in my wallet because I know my pull list is stacked with DC comics.
There you go. Yeah, I was always I never knew much about Marvel comics other than the fact that there was Spider-Man because there was a cartoon when I was a kid. And I was primarily a DC guy myself. I grew up with Superman movies. I grew up with the Batman movies. I grew up with the Batman cartoons, the Superman cartoons.
Yep.
So I was mostly a DC guy too. And I even listen, there was any DC movie that's come out, I even though everybody says it sucked, I still enjoyed.
I love them. I mean, I'll go see the Marvel films too.
Right.
But I still support my DC. Like I'm like you. I grew up in the 80s reading DC comics. All my friends were Marvel, and I was the outcast. They're looking at me going, "Oh, you're DC. You need to come over to the right side." And I was like, "No, I'm happy with DC."
Right. I'm happy where I'm at. So you are also on Podcast City Network along there with Everett Lee and the other man in there, David C. Russell, and a few other guys that I haven't met yet personally or over the interwebs here. Tell me a little bit how you got involved with Everett Lee and Podcast City Network.
Okay, I was podcasting for a while. And then Everett Lee started listening to some of my episodes, and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I was wondering, I like your show. I was wondering if you want to become part of Podcast City Network." And I was like, "What's that?" Because I was still learning the whole podcasting thing. I was like, I don't know. So he told me. So from there, I took his invitation, and I've been with him ever since. Everett is a cool dude, man. He's helped me a lot learning over the years of podcasting. If it wasn't without him, with his help, I'd be totally lost.
Really? That's awesome, dude, that you guys have a cool thing, where
and David
like mentoring or something like that, right?
Yeah, I knew I was like learning as I was going too, but David gave me little hints about here, you should do your show this way and that way. And I was like, okay, cool. And we still give each other, ideas. Stuff. He's a cool dude, man.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. He's reached out to me a couple times, and we've talked here, and he's sent me a couple things. I primarily started out on YouTube, doing YouTube. That's more my thing than anything, really, is YouTube, and I just really push YouTube. And I only recently started like actually uploading audio content, and it's like it's a whole new world to me. I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I'm doing it right.
You're like this. You're like, okay, I'm so used to doing video.
Right.
And see, I'm totally opposite. I started doing all audio, now I just got a YouTube page now.
Right.
It's kind of fun, and
Right.
I'm trying to push that up. But yeah, I feel you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, it's all good stuff, and I enjoy doing both. It's a lot of work though. There's a
Yes, it
lot of work.
is.
There's a lot of work, and you know, I have co-hosts and stuff too that we do some work with here, and it's good stuff. I enjoy it, man. You've interviewed quite a quite a few. I mean, how many episodes do you have now?
I'm up to 365 episodes.
Oh, holy smokes, brother!
And this is in a 2-year span.
Man,
I was pumping.
Yeah, you were. Holy moly, man! Now you've done a lot of interviews. You've done a lot of different things in wrestling.
Yeah.
What's one of the favorite? When it's one of your favorite interviews, and why?
Oh, I got so many of them. Damn, you're putting me on the spot here. My one favorite one was with Bobby Blaze, who wrestled for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He was real big there, and he wrestled over in WCW a little bit. I thought that was a great interview. He was very surprised. I did a lot of research on him because he was real picky who he would be on the podcast with, because every time he had somebody on, they wouldn't know how to answer the right questions. But, he was surprised they came up with all these questions. He's like, wow, how'd you come up with all these? And I was like, did some research. He really enjoyed it. And then my second favorite one would be my latest one with Bret the Hitman Hart's brother, Bruce Hart.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was cool. He got into detail about the history of his father, Stu, how he was in, how he started Stampede, and then he did and he also talked about how he brought the Dynamite Kid from England all the way to Canada to wrestle, how they had that strong friendship, which was pretty cool. And then he started going from, Dynamite Kid, and then started doing a little bit more history, how he went from a wrestler to a promoter to Stampede. And, he talked a little bit about, how, Vince treated, the Hart family.
Right.
He didn't get into great detail about that, but yeah, he was fun, and he enjoyed being on my show. And he said, anytime I want for him to come on, he says, just give him a call. He really enjoyed having me on. And then I'll have to say number 3 was I had Barbara Goodish on, Bruiser Brody's widow. And that girl, boy, was fun to interview. She told some great stories about her husband, man.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to listen to it.
Yeah, Barbara Goodish.
We were just having a conversation on Michigan Independent Weekly or Rasslin Rage. I can't remember. I think it was Rasslin Rage. I do so much now. I don't remember.
Same here.
Right. The other day we were on Rasslin Rage, and I started to introduce it as it was Michigan Independent Weekly. I went, wait, this is Rasslin Rage. Never mind. Rasslin Rage. But anyways, yeah, we were doing fantasy bookings, and we did this one. And I know you know this gentleman. You know both these guys. We did Bruiser Brody against Dre Jacobs.
Ooh, that would have been one hell of a match, man.
Right.
I would pay money to see that. I would sit in the front row with some vodka and popcorn. I don't care where it was. They can have a ring, a makeshift ring. I don't care. I'd be sitting in the front row, man. I'd be egging it on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, we got into that one. That's a good one. But that's a great interview. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that for sure. Now you also, do you dabble in the feds at all, or are you just strictly indie? What's up?
Okay. I'm 100% indie. I support independent wrestling. I like it because he put their heart and soul into it than the bigger shows.
Right.
But I still dap into the big shows. I love AEW. I watch AEW. I watch New Japan, of course. But my favorite, to me, it reminds me of growing up in the 80s and old school style. I love NWA Power. I just love NWA wrestling. I mean, I think that's where it's at. And I think Nick Aldis is just a freaking legend, man. He's great in a ring, and that guy can do a kick-ass promo, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you and Danny Beals would really get along because Danny Beals, he loves NWA. He loves the old school style. He loves all that.
I do.
He's that's all Danny Beals. Danny Beals, the real deal heel. Danny Beals. He's really
that's
old,
that's the reason why I like Future Great Wrestling too, because it's all old school,
right?
And it has a story. Because I think in today's wrestling, I think there's a lack of storytelling.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know,
And
it's real quick and over, one and done.
Yeah, they don't want to take their time. They don't want to do a good promo to start the story. They don't want to do a start, middle, and finish where it keeps the audience going, okay, I can't wait to see next week what's going to happen, you know?
Right.
I miss those days. Don't get me wrong. I love watching wrestling, but I just miss the days where there was good promos and good stories and a lot of great in-ring psychology, which got you invested in the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, WCW, WWF.
I'm going to say WCW.
Yeah.
I was more of a big WCW guy. I mean, I watched WWF, but I was more of a Nitro guy, man.
Right. Yep. Yeah, me too, man. Me and a buddy and I, we always were at either his house or my house, and we were always watching Nitro every Monday night, man. Every Monday night we were there.
Yeah, and I always liked DVR'd Monday Night Raw.
Right.
So I would watch Nitro first, and then after Nitro was over, I would stay up like till butt crack of dawn and would watch Raw.
There was a time when I was working in one of the factories around here, and there was a bunch of guys, and we would trade tapes at work. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, tape trading. I miss that. VHS tape trading. I remember my friend Jennifer Wood, we were like in the 3rd grade, and I remember she would tape all the, you know, pay-per-views for like all the WrestleManias and stuff. And she would swap them with me, and then I would swap her different wrestling tapes, and it kept on going around and around. And I would get all these different tapes. It's like, what the hell am I watching now?
Right. You know, and with where we're at now, as far as the advancement of technology, you know, it's we're far beyond that now. We're way beyond that. We have we have entire internet databases full of wrestling. You know, we have the
I know.
We have the WWE Network. Impact has their own thing. ROH has their own thing. Indie Wrestling TV, their network there, you know, where you can watch Horror Slam from Horror Slam up here. There's all kinds of promotions. Mr. Chainsaw Pro Wrestling. You know, what do you like where wrestling is? Like, as far as like, do you like having all that, like YouTube and all this stuff, and be able to do all that with wrestling? What's your take on that, man?
I mean, I like it a little bit. I mean, you can see everything, but the thing about it is I miss it back in the day where you had to go to the show, invest your time for the whole storyline. And if you wanted to see what was going to happen next, you would have to show up next week.
Right.
Or, and before the internet, you know, we had the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines.
Yep.
So, you know, there's certain, you know, wrestling, you know, we weren't able to watch. We can catch it up on the magazines. I'm one of those guys. I like it where it's just kayfabe, where the good guys stay in one locker room, the bad guys stay in the other locker room. You don't see them like hanging out like you do today. They just do their thing and leave. You know, they go a different way. You don't see them, you know, doing selfies or hanging out, drinking beer and stuff. I mean, I miss the element of surprise, because on the internet, it tells you everything before you watch it. I loved it where you had to keep on guessing. You're like, I wonder what's going to happen next of your favorite match you're invested in. Or remember back in the day when WCW and WBF, they kept on jumping ship. You were wondering, okay, which star's going over here or which star's going over there?
Yeah.
And it just kept you on the suspense. And in today's wrestling, I mean, it's good to watch, but you just know what's happening before it even comes on. There's no excitement to that.
Yeah. That's where the indies takes people like us. You know, when we had this conversation. I think I think it was I was on Everett's show, or I can't
Uh-huh.
remember, and you were in the chat, and we were all talking, and
Yeah.
we had this conversation where we were talking about the feds, the big feds.
Hmm.
They don't cater to people like us. They cater.
No, they catered to the I hate to say this word. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for this. The casual fan.
Yeah,
They just think WWF and AEW is the only wrestling that matters.
right.
You know, I've talked to some fans who are straight WWF, casual fans. I try to introduce them into, like independence or any. They won't listen. It's like WWF or you're just an outcast.
Right. There are some people like that, but I mean, I've ran into a lot of people. Like for instance, I was waiting in line to meet Ric Flair again, and
Hmm.
I was talking to people, and of course, I was promoing indie wrestling, Michigan
Yeah.
indie wrestling, and there was this mother and her child. Well, they weren't. She wasn't a child; it was her teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was talking to them, and we were talking about. She was talking about she liked Impact, and I'm like, hey, there's a bunch of guys
Yeah.
from right here in Michigan that are in Impact Wrestling, and I'm like, you can see them here, stuff like that. So I mean, I get it. There are a lot of people. I remember a friend of mine. We got ticket. He had tickets. He was going to take somebody else. They couldn't go. I went with him. We went to Raw.
Yeah.
He had floor tickets.
Okay.
And we're sitting there, and it was the night that Brock Lesnar didn't show up or whatever to Detroit.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Roman Reigns got suspended or whatever that was.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's like 10 o'clock, and people that have like front row tickets are getting up and leaving because they brought their kids. They paid like all this money for these tickets, and they're getting up and leaving before the show's even over, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's nuts. You paid, wow. Like I got the ticket for free.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have kids that you want to bring to wrestling, don't get the expensive tickets. If you know the kids are ready to go a certain time, shit. Oh, excuse my language.
You're all right, man. You're all right.
Get nosebleed seats or seats up from the floor where you can just by the nearest exit take your kid home.
Yeah,
Instead of,
absolutely.
and if you want to invest in some good wrestling tickets, just take a buddy with you, man. Don't take your kids with you.
Right. Yeah, and you know what though? You could take kids to some of these independent shows. There are,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to a Future Great Wrestling show, but I know like there's a few here that are very kid friendly, and you're out the door by 9-10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? But you got a good 6 matches out of the night. You know what I mean? And you got a lot of cool people too. So,
Yeah. Future Great Wrestling's like that too. It's family friendly too.
there you go.
It lasts us until 10.
Out the door at 10, at home, kids
Yep.
are in bed, tucked away, nighty night. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
You probably got about what, 6 matches too, right?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
6.
And the cool thing about Future Great Wrestling, it's just awesome. They just got a talented roster, run by Cody Hawk, man.
Oh yeah, dude. What a guy there, huh?
Oh, that guy's just a legend, man.
Now, how did you? Okay, so let's talk about that. Now you know how I met him because he's been up here. That's how I met him. He was up here, worked for Blue Water Championship Wrestling. That's how I met him. Okay, how did you meet Cody Hawk?
How I met Cody Hawk was I met him at CWAI, this independent promotion, which was in Hamilton, Ohio. It didn't last it lasted for a while, not that long. Okay. And before Future Great Wrestling was the big, Fed in Hamilton, Ohio. That's what I say, the big Fed in Hamilton, Ohio. But we do have competition like over in Fairfield, Roger Ruffin's NWF too. It's a little competition, but it's all good, man. Future Great Wrestling's where it's at. And I met Cody at CWAI. I met him through Gary, where I was telling you about earlier, Eric Fallen. I met them and started building a friendship with them. And It was a long time since I went to an independent show. Got back into indies. CWAI is the one that got me back into independent wrestling.
Well, there you go.
So I went there, started going to shows, started, building friendships with the wrestlers. And from there, that's how me and Cody became friends.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, he's been up here a few times. We hung out, whatever, but what a dude, man. Talk about one of the most humble people you'll ever meet in your entire life, dude.
Oh, he is. He's very professional. He's always there to help anybody in the locker room. I mean, he's just like a good mentor to him. And that's why the FGW locker room is just so positive and family friendly. It's just because of Cody and Brian Levick, who owns it. Everybody just gets along with her. There's no politics. Everybody just gets along. It's just a fun locker room to be in.
That's awesome.
In my opinion.
That's really that's awesome, man. And I can't wait to get down there and experience all that there is of Future Great Wrestling, because there's people in Future Great Wrestling that I have not met yet or have seen actually wrestle. You know what I'm saying? Like in a match, and I have to see that. You can watch on whatever, but you and I both know there is nothing like a live indie wrestling event. There's nothing like it.
It's electrifying. And speaking of Cody, I was curious one day. I went to Cody. I was like, I paid 2 training sessions with Cody to learn how to take a bump and run ropes.
Oh,
just to get the side, what's it like to be a pro wrestler? I know everything from the outside of the ring, but not in the inside. And I did it. I did it for me. I didn't do it to earn respect from the guys in the locker room or Cody. I wanted to get in there, and Cody kicked my ass, man.
I bet.
And taking bumps hurts like hell. I don't know how wrestlers can do it day after day, and especially running the ropes hurt too. I had like whelps on the side of my body. Right. It was good. I just did 2 training sessions up to Cody. It's like, hey man, I'm done. I know how you feel. And this is what Cody said to me. He's like, you know something, Rob? He said, it took balls for you to get in this ring, man. And I totally respect you for it. That's awesome. And when Cody said that, that just made my day, man.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That made my day too, man. That's pretty awesome, man. That's a hell of a dude to be saying something like that,
At least I know how to take a bump and a hit.
Right. I watched him up here. There was a guy up here, little toddy hotties there, and apparently he wanted Brian Pillman Jr. and Cody Hawk to give him a couple chops. And
oh my God,
yeah, man, video content, great stuff. It was and it was fun, and the guy hurt afterwards. So, but
you wanted to see someone that gives good chops over FGW, man?
Who's that?
Go talk to Ryan Wild.
Well, I know Ryan from Roach.
Yeah, that guy could do. That guy could do some slaps. And I'll tell you another one who could do some good ones too is Drew Skills. That guy's a beast. I would hate to get a chop by Drew Skills.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm gonna write this guy down. Drew Skills. Hook me up, man. Drew Skills. Now, I gotta ask you here.
Okay.
What are you doing? It's the pandemic. 2020. Everything's shut. Well, for right now, it's pretty much shut down. Things are starting to kind of come back into play here. I'm hearing I know you're essential. I'm not. I may go back to work here soon. You're working.
What I'm doing now, of course, I'm working my full-time job in door dashing.
Right.
And the other day I was wearing a Future Great Wrestling shirt while I was door dashing, and people were giving me compliments on it. And I was telling them about it's like, really? There's wrestling here in Cincinnati? And I was like, yeah, there's wrestling in Cincinnati.
Isn't that amazing? That's and it blows my mind because like I live in Michigan, and I know that there's wrestling in Ohio. I know that because there's so much wrestling in Ohio.
There's a lot, right?
I know that. And I knew that before I knew there was wrestling in Michigan.
Yeah. So what I've been doing during the quarantine is I've been going to work, podcasting, of course. Since this whole quarantine, I've been podcasting like crazy, more than I ever did before. And it's weird, but it's also good too.
Right. Well,
And then
how many episodes were you pumping out before a week, before post pandemic?
It'd probably be like maybe one a week, sometimes maybe twice a month. But since the whole pandemic, I've just been busting them out like it's out of style.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's nuts.
And then besides that, I've been, catching up on some of my shows on TV. God bless the DVR.
Amen.
And then I've been going back on WWE Network and just watching the old Monday Nitros and Raws and stuff, just watching all the old wrestling, gotten back into my childhood.
That's awesome, man. I like
so I've been doing.
Yeah. I end up getting into like I'll go down the Facebook or YouTube video like I don't know how to explain it. Like I get clicking on stuff and I'm like, ooh, this looks cool. Ooh, ooh, that looks cool. And then I just keep watching like little clips and all this stuff. I'm just like, I'll watch something from New Japan and then something from England will click in there and then something whatever. Because I like watching some of them guys over there from England, man. They're a little
They're a different breed.
Yeah. I went to so are you familiar with Evolve Wrestling?
Oh, I love Evolve Wrestling. I'll tell you somebody who they're eyeing on too, until she turns 18. They've been eyeing on her. Alice Crowley. Look her up. She's a young, hot talent in the indie scene. And she wrestles for IWA Mid-South down right there by Louisville.
Okay.
Which is run by Ian Rotten. And you got to check her out, man. This girl is going to be a major star, man.
Yeah.
I mean, she's on fire. Yeah, I heard of Evolve. I love Evolve Wrestling. They got a great roster, man.
Oh yeah, they sure do. And one of the boys from up here is on Evolve, and but they did a double header show here in Michigan in Livonia with Progress Wrestling, which is out of the UK. And
okay, I've heard of Progress.
Woo! Talk about a different crowd, man. Like, because it was two shows, they cleared out the venue because Evolve was first. They cleared it out, and then that came in the Progress crowd, and I had tickets to both. Mm-hmm. Ooh, man, different crowd. I was like, wow, dude, it was like punk rock, hardcore.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's just like Wrestling Revolver too.
Yeah.
You ever go Wrestling Revolver show, which is run by Sammy Callahan, which is out in Dayton. I mean, Dayton's got some wrestling too, but man, that's a whole different breed too. And if you're going to go into some hardcore like wrestling, like you talked about England, let's talk about our brothers over in North and Canada. Let's talk about Smash Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Super Kicked Pro Wrestling, man, or Chinlock Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, Super Kicked, and there's Chem Valley Wrestling up there in Sarnia. There's a bunch of the DTA guys, and Electric Ely's up there too. There's what's his name, Jacques Samson.
Oh gosh, Jacques Samson, that guy is a hoot. Yeah. I interviewed him. I dug some stuff on him that he I knew about him. Did you know before he was a professional wrestler, he was a country singer?
Really?
Yep.
Oh boy, did you find any of his tunes?
I'm still looking, but I know he played at some honky tonks and stuff.
I'm still looking.
Yeah, and and the last time I saw, sometimes I'll go up to War Wrestling up in Lima, Ohio, which is run by Thomas Williams. Mm-hmm. That guy knows everything about the business inside and out. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. And Jacques Samson wrestles at War Wrestling, and then I saw him up in Remix Pro Wrestling in Ohio, and he was in an interesting match with Space Monkey.
Space Monkey. I've seen him in what is that out of Wrestle Circus?
Oh God, I miss Wrestle Circus.
I do too, dude.
You had Flip Gordon, Tessa Blanchard, Trey McGill. You had some. God, I wish that promotion was still around, man.
Yeah, we see Trey McGill up here every once in a while. You'll catch him, dude. The last show for XI, that one before the pandemic.
Yeah.
He was sitting in the crowd. He just sat with the people. He just sat with the fans and watched the show.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It was really cool. He just sat there and watched. It was cool.
God, I love Trey Miguel. That kid has talent, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You never know with XI when you're up here.
Yeah.
You had to come up here one time for an XI. You just never know what's going to happen. One day you'll get.
Hey, if I come visit Michigan, man, I'm gonna be crashing on your couch.
There you go. You know, like one day we show up to XI and the opening this wasn't announced. We get there, the opening match is Shogun versus Mike Elgin.
Oh my God, I love Shogun Jackson Stone.
Yeah, he's my bro, man.
I got to know him pretty good. He is part of the Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling over in Harrison, Ohio. So I got to build a friendship with Jackson Stone. I'm also part of Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling too. That's another great promotion you should check out too.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've seen, you know, a lot of his posts from down there when he's down there. You know, him and I are, you know, I've interviewed him a few times, dude. He's really cool, man. I got a really good story about he guest hosted Rasslin Rage one night.
Oh, cool.
And I had to go pick him up. And you know how big he is, right? He's a big dude.
Yes. He's big, but don't let that size fool you. He's a gentle, cool dude, man.
Yeah. Well, I used to drive a PT Cruiser.
Okay.
Picture Jackson Stone in a PT Cruiser.
I can't picture that.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, let me picture that. No, I can't picture him in a PT Cruiser.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. What a great guy too, man, to do that for me. I was so pleased, you know. Love that guy, man. One of the only guys I know that you go to, like, if you know, when you know, at the halftime or whatever you want to call it, at the intermission, and you're getting your autographs and stuff from the guys, and he's taking pictures with the fans for himself to post on Facebook. And he's one of the only guys I know that does that, dude.
Actually, there's another wrestler that does that as well.
Who's that?
Pretty Little Psycho Shauna Reed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, go look on her page. She has like a fan gallery of all the fans she took pictures with.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Now, pro wrestling is, we talked about, you know, like the content wise, like we got so much. There's like, holy moly, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that the internet ruined wrestling.
I don't. No, actually, before the internet ruined wrestling, I'm going to say this.
What's that?
Vince ruined wrestling.
Ooh, on the record. On the record with Robyn Nelson.
That's right. He ruined wrestling. He made it like sports entertainment. I mean, of course, the internet helped it too. That's how kayfabe got destroyed. The internet, Vince, they destroyed kayfabe. You know, I miss kayfabe, and there's a lot of people probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But right. God, I just miss it, man. It was just great. You know, nowadays it's like, you know, the only people that really get into the whole kayfabe, if you notice in independent wrestling matches, watch the kids, the young kids. They get into it and they really actually believe it, man. They get into 100%. You know, it's like, see, that's a true wrestling fan right there, man. That whole kayfabe thing, man.
Right. Well, and then it goes away, and it's never the same again.
Yeah, it's not, but it's great to see young kids really invest in it. It's just like me as a little kid in the 80s doing the same thing, going, wow, I love this guy, man, and actually really getting into him.
Right. See, and that's the thing. It's really hard for me to do that with the feds and even like watching on TV.
Same here. Same here.
I go to an indie show, man, and I go nuts. You ask anybody that has ever seen me at a show, I am yelling, I'm screaming, I'm whatever, you know, and I'm not one of those guys that's trying to hijack the show, you know.
I know you're not.
I'm not one of those guys, you know, but I will boo and I will cheer for who I like. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. That's why I like independent wrestling. Right,
you know,
I'm like that too. It's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gets you to fall in love with wrestling even more.
Absolutely. And I love going to XI up here, man, because we just get right in. And you know, obviously, when Blue Water is going, we love going to Blue Water as well. Hopefully, Blue Water when the pandemic is over. Hopefully, we get some blue water in our lives again here soon.
I would love to go to a Blue Water show.
Absolutely.
That's on my list because I know Cody wrestles up there. Sean Casey. I think did Shauna wrestle at Blue Water?
Yeah, she's the champ.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. See,
Yeah.
I learned something from you, like how you learned I was from California.
Right?
See?
Yeah. She was. See, we had Extreme Bombshells of Wrestling. She's the XPW champ. Now, some say she didn't officially win the championship, but she's the one with the belt. So,
don't let her hear you say that. She'll give you a lecture.
About what?
She's the champ. You know what you were saying now. Some of the people say, did she really actually earn that belt?
Me. It ain't me. She had to talk to some other people, though. That's what they said.
You gotta love Pretty Little Cycle Shauna Reed, man.
Oh yeah, she's a good person, dude. Awesome. All of them. Sean too. Big John. Love Big John.
You gotta love Big John.
Yeah.
That guy's always in a good mood too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just one of the greatest dudes you would ever get to know. I mean, I got to know him, through FGW in the locker room. He's the coolest dude ever. I love some Big John Murray, man.
Yeah, I met him up here, and had never met him before, and dude, right away, man, he's just such a cool person. He opens up to people and just talks to you like a normal person. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's like a big kid.
Differently.
Yeah, he's like a big kid.
Yeah,
and the cool thing about him was, he got into wrestling too for a little bit before he got hurt. Now he's trying to get back into it again. He's working on it, and I hope it happens. And then, he's like best friends with Bret Michaels from Poison.
Right.
He's been, a bodyguard for some of the big names in rock and roll music today, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to see John get back into wrestling. I mean, he's still part of the show with the 5 Most Wanted. He gets in there and knocks some guys out here and there. But I can't wait to see him when he finally gets his own wrestling match.
There you go. Yeah, man, what a guy, dude. Would you ever so picture yourself, one night you're all wasted, you're at the bar.
Yeah.
And you decide to pick a fight with Big John.
Oh my gosh, that would be the most stupidest thing I would ever do. You know what happened? Yeah. John would pick me up like a little rag doll. He would shake and not censor me, going, Robyn, I know you. I like you. What do you think you're doing? He'd shake me, and if I still kept on getting crazy, shoot, he'd bitch slap me and I'd be knocked out.
That's great.
But I wouldn't mess with him in the bar. I wouldn't mess with Big John. Hell no.
Right.
I wouldn't even. That's a weird question to ask. And if you're listening, dude, I would never mess with you.
Well, you know me, I ask all the wrong questions.
Oh, I know you do, but yeah, I wouldn't pick no fight, Big John.
Oh, yeah, but hey, it's one of those
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Shoot, maybe Sean Casey.
I wouldn't even pick a fight with him. He's got his dog with him. He should get the dog on you.
His dog is more of a bigger star than Sean is. I've told that to Sean.
The thing, though, okay, but does the dog can't talk?
No, but the dog gets a lot of attention. Women love the dog. The fans love the dog. And everywhere that dog is in that locker room, everybody's paying attention to that dog.
Right. I don't know, man.
That dog's a star.
Right. Sean, man, that guy, a really cool thing about, I was part of, I wasn't part of, I was there, you know what I'm saying, when he was inducted into the Blue Water Championship Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And they didn't do this. They didn't do a ceremony. They just did they gave him his ring because he got a cool ring,
I didn't see that. I didn't know about that. Yeah. When I see Sean, it's like, let me see the ring, Sean. Let me see the ring, man.
Yeah, he got the ring, but so they did it. He had a match, and he's the bad guy.
Yeah, of
course.
The
whole crowd hates him. Boo, 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 boo. He leaves, goes out. They induct the guys into the Hall of Fame. He comes out and they stand on their feet and cheer him in the
See
same
that,
night.
you know something? He's doing his job, man.
Right.
Doing
I
his
know.
job and getting real respected too,
Right.
man.
You know,
Yep.
I was just in like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like that it was it was kind of like, man, they get it, you know, but then there's like, oh man, wait a minute, they get it.
Oh, and speaking of Future Great Wrestling, I don't know if you saw it. Future Great Wrestling is in the rankings in the latest Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go get the latest magazine. It has AJ Styles on the cover because he got Pro Wrestling Wrestler of the Year. And you go back to the rankings, and Future Great Wrestling's in there.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really cool. I remember I had Cody on the show and Big John and Sean, but I didn't have. I think I had Sean either before it had happened, but it was the it had gotten broken into. Future Great Wrestling had gotten broken into.
Oh yeah, it did. They got some equipment taken, some microphones, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we still don't know who the little varmints are, man.
That's crappy.
Dude, it's stupid. And then they go in, and then if you see the video, the people who broke in go and start messing around inside the wrestling ring. It's like a disrespect to all pro wrestlers, man.
Right. You know,
it was disgusting.
You know, and they're dumb. They're probably ignorant to the whole fact. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
Oh yeah. Don't get on that subject. Jackson Breeze, man. Jackson Breeze, he was like a headhunter. It's like, I'm gonna find those people.
Oh, I'm sure. I remember talking to Big John about it, and Big John was like, "I'll take care of this. You just let me know." I was like, "Damn, dude! Yeah, wow." You know, funny thing about Big John, not really a funny story, but kind of a cool story about him is, I had filmed a whole interview with Big John. Right.
Oh, that had been cool.
Right. And we sat down, we talked, the whole 9 yards, right? I sit down to go edit the interview, all video, no audio.
Oh my gosh. I would have been like pulling my hair.
Yeah, I was. So I reached out to Big John. And somehow he was so nice, he sat down and we did a whole nother interview.
See, that's the cool thing about Big John. He's like a big kid. He's very professional too, but he treats everybody like a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't go, I'm bigger than you. Why you should be man, John, I'm so glad I got have a friendship with John. The dude's just good. I mean,
there's very few people in the world that have a heart like Big John.
Oh, he's helped me a lot too. Yeah. I mean, I told respect Big John, and I respect him. He was also in the military, the Marines. Yeah. You got to respect that too. He served his country too, man.
Right. Now, what are some of the things that you love most about doing your podcast?
The thing I love most about doing my podcast is just the different people from all around I get to talk to and learn stories from them, what they went through, how they became a wrestler, what got them the training. And I also like to talk about other subjects besides wrestling too. I like to know what they enjoy outside the ring. What are their hobbies? What do they like to do? Do they love being with their family a lot? What type of stuff you do besides wrestling. Right. I like to get into the most intimate details. That's the reason about my show is I'll talk about wrestling, but I like to get to the intimate details about what they have passions for, what they love. Of course, they love their pro wrestling and their craft, but they also love other stuff. And every time my show's over, a lot of them go, "Hey, thank you so much for letting me talk on certain subjects that I always wanted to talk about. Thank you so much." And it makes it real easy when you're talking to them.
Right. That's awesome. I find myself a lot because, I know you have a lot going on with with your just regular life.
Yeah.
2 jobs and then, now and then plus the 3 podcasts, you could say 3 shows or whatever. and
Mhm.
anything else that you're doing, a lot that goes along with all that, with the promotion of it and all that other, because that's not, I know all about that too. That ain't easy. That's time.
Oh, it's not. I miss going to comic and horror conventions right now, man.
Yeah.
Oh, oh man, it just makes me mad. I mean, I just love going to conventions, man.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So you with everything that you do, all everything,
Mhm.
is do you find like any times that you ever get like burned out with it all and you got to take a break?
Yeah, I have. There's times where I've got totally burned out podcasting. There was for a while I didn't podcast at all.
Yeah.
I just got burnt out. It's like I had like writer's block.
Yeah.
You can't ask the same questions or doing this, and you try to find more research and can't find anything, and it just bothers you. So there was a stint for a while where I didn't, podcast as much.
Yeah.
And I remember Brian Levick, the promoter of Future Great Wrestling. He comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Rob, are you okay?" Because Brian's a good guy too, man. He just
Right.
wants to make sure you're doing all right. He's like, "Are you okay?" And it's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I haven't seen you podcasting lately." That was, and
Right.
I was just burnt out. I mean, I was burnt out watching pro wrestling for a little bit again. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
What do you
And
do
then
to unwind? Do you do anything to unwind, or do you set some time aside and say, "Hey, I'm not doing anything to do with pro wrestling or whatever,
yeah,
podcasting, whatever"? Do you like say, "Hey, I'm not doing shit on Sunday," or
yeah,
whatever?
I'm not doing no, I'm not doing shit on Sunday. I just sit at home and just lay and relax and just reminiscence, and or I'll go like take a hike somewhere just to clear my thoughts in my head and just enjoy what's out there, because everybody's always on their phone, and technology wise, you know, you got to get off your phone once in a while to enjoy your surroundings. So sometimes I like to go out in the middle of nowhere where, I don't look on my phone or anything, just sit there and just enjoy the day,
Mhm.
enjoy what's around me, and just unwind.
Yeah.
So I did that. I've done that a lot. And after that, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go back to podcasting.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, in any job, any career, anything, we all get burnt out, man.
Right.
It's the truth. And if you say you don't, you're lying.
Right. Absolutely. I get burned out, man. I got like there's like I have to just shut everything off and like I can't even talk to nobody because sometimes like things start
Hmm.
happening and I'm like, all right, I just need to
Yep, been or done that.
done. Leave me alone. You know, like last night, like we filmed MI you
Uh
know,
huh.
and see right now with everything going on with the pandemic, like really all MI is supposed to be is here is the shows that are coming up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and or
Yeah.
Sunday. Here's where you buy tickets. Here how much they are. Blah blah blah. Well, there ain't no wrestling shows right now. So, but we've been coming up with a little more creative ideas. And last night we did factions in Michigan, right? Indie factions. Yeah, we
Ooh,
did indie factions in Michigan. And dude, that was a 45-minute episode. And
that's fun.
yeah, it was a good episode, but I was up late editing video and what have you. And it's a dedication sometimes, man, doing all this stuff. I
Another
enjoy
good
it
one.
though. I like it. I mean,
Another good one you should do is the indie tag teams. I mean,
oh
tag
yeah.
teams are just not as big in wrestling today how it's back in the day, man. You should do some on tag teams. Talk about like the Ugly Ducklings or
Hmm.
the Gymnasty Boys, the Five Most Wanted,
Yeah. Oh
so and
yeah.
so.
Yeah, the five. See, and we didn't put five most wanted in the Michigan indie factions because they
What?
haven't been up here in so long. That
What? They should still be part of it. Come on,
yeah,
man. Five.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Hey,
they don't have
hey,
any
throw it up,
representation right
throw
now.
it down, man.
I'll
Throw it
do
up,
it.
throw it down.
They don't have the representation they used to, man.
But that's not cool, man. Five most,
I
dude.
mean,
Five most wanted. Mm-mm.
I'm just saying they got to get up here. They got to do something. I ain't seen them in forever, dude. You know how long it's been?
It's probably a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been quite a while, actually. I mean, Cody's on the wall over there, but you know,
Okay, where's Sean? How come he's not on the wall?
He is. He's up there.
Okay, I believe you.
It's me and Michael Edible Barnes, me and Michael Edible Barnes and Sean Casey.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and then Cody's below that. And then
okay,
Edible Barnes. There. Well, you can't see them because they're all the way on.
Well,
the end.
that counts, and at least you get a picture of Cody and Sean. That's cool.
Yeah. There you go. I'm working it. There we go. Nice. So, 5 Most Wanted, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're got a lot of experience with them. What's your take on it? Are you a fan of the 5? Or what are you? What say you?
Oh, it could go either or, man.
Oh, you're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah.
They're
gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me for saying that, but
hey, no, man, you don't have to explain to me because listen, the Michigan, Ohio thing, right?
Yeah, I
we
do.
All,
yeah, it's if.
Right.
And trust me, some of the wrestlers I've interviewed, did video interviews. I've been grabbed by the throat, slammed against the wall. I've been manhandled sometimes on certain wrestlers too. I'll give you a good example. Madman Fulton showed up to Future Great Wrestling to wrestle Cody. And I went to go do you probably seen that video.
Yeah.
I went down the hallway and I was getting some stuff. He gets up, picks me up like a little rat, slams me against the wall, and I was like, I didn't know he was gonna do that. I was just gonna ask him a couple questions.
Oh man, that's crazy.
He's a beast.
Yeah, I know. I've interviewed him too, but it wasn't on that kind of terms.
Oh, when I mentioned Cody Hawk, he kind of didn't like that.
Yeah, I was like, hey, he's so tall, man. He's huge. He's really nice guy though, man.
And the cool thing about Future Great Wrestling, you don't know who's going to show up on Friday nights to wrestle or at all.
Right.
When they film Shockwave, they don't show everything. You have to come to the show on Fridays to see matches too.
Right.
There's a lot of
show
matches
that on YouTube, right?
Yep, Shockwave. Yeah. You just don't know who's going to be popping up from the indie scene. I mean, Sammy Callahan's been there because Cody trained him. Ace Austin's been there. Leaping Lanny Poffo, Madman Fulton, a bunch of names in indie wrestling. You just don't know who's going to show up.
Right. Oh, I mean, Cody Hawk's there, so who wouldn't want to go there?
Yeah, he's well respected.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I love the guy, dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's such a cool dude. Now, you've been doing this quite a while.
Yes.
How much social media do you have? Because, dude, I have like 4 or 5. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of social media. It's just too much.
It is. I have a lot too. Twitter, I really never did much, but I'm pushing it up. I'm slowly getting that momentum. But I mostly just been like on Facebook a lot lately. I mean, I have an Instagram, I got a YouTube channel, Twitter, and then I got, my platforms for my podcasts are on. But yeah, it's doing a lot of media is hard, and you have to keep up on it too, like posting stories or asking like certain questions of the day, picture. It's a never ending battle, man. I know you're shaking your head like this, going, "I feel you, Robyn. I know."
No, it drives me nuts. It literally does.
It drives me nuts too, man. Because you always have to come up with creative stuff to keep people following you interested. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, it's. I love doing what I do, but it's sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, what am I gonna do now?
That's just like Future Great Wrestling since the quarantine. I've been getting together with some of the guys and doing some Beyond the Bells, just us, just nobody else in there.
Right.
But
how much more creative do you find yourself having to be now because of the pandemic?
I've been learning a lot here and there, man. I'm thinking about it's hard too when because of the pandemic to be creative because there's only as far as you can go,
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, okay, what should I do next? I'll tell you a guy who's really creative. He's a good friend of mine. David Barnabas Spector of Darkness Worldwide.
Oh yes, I know this man.
Yes, he can be a pain. He can be a pain in the ass sometimes because he runs Darkness Worldwide. But that guy's smart, man. That guy's clever. He always comes up with some great stuff, videos and everything, man. He's good at editing. Anything. If you ever need anything, man, that guy will make you look like $1 million, man.
That's awesome, dude. People that make people look like $1 million are really awesome too.
Yeah, and he has his own show too,
Darkness
Radio.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You need to check it out. I think he's done 4 episodes already. It's called Darkness Radio. He interviews. He talks about wrestling and paranormal stuff, and interviews bands, rock bands.
That's interesting. Yeah, I met him one time here in Michigan. He was with Shay Solo and a few other people.
Okay.
And they were here for Border City Wrestling Impact show.
Yeah, that's right. He was doing that because David's good friends with Nolan Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch him, he's an up-and-coming talent too. And Nolan works behind the scenes at Impact. He does all their editing and all their stuff for him. Nolan can produce some great videos and stuff, man. The guy's genius.
Promos are amazing.
Yeah. Gotta love Nolan Edwards.
Yeah, I remember watching him when he first started out, and him and Alex Weir were doing a set against each other. They did a couple different matches, and the promos that came out of that, dude, man, what he was doing then was just like, dude, what is going? This guy, who is this guy? Like out of nowhere, nobody knew who he was at first, and it was like, who is this dude?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to him when he was first starting out. He was on my show when he was first starting out. But yeah, the guy is just phenomenal inside and outside the ring, man.
Yeah, he's not in Michigan anymore. I don't know where he's at now.
He's in Nashville now.
Oh, okay.
And he's also part of Impact Wrestling. That's another reason why he went down to Nashville too to do some stuff for them too. So yeah,
that's really awesome. I mean, we ran into him the last time I ran into him. He was up here for Tri-City Wrestling. He was up here for their benefit show that they do every year. That it's the Cassidy Christie Memorial Show, and they donate the money. He's their cruiserweight champ. He beat BRD to become the cruiserweight champ that night.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the last time I seen him. I talked to him that night briefly. And then that's the last time I've seen him. So,
yeah, he's still around in the indies, but he's mostly working behind the scenes, and he's in Nashville. He loves Nashville, so yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have another buddy that from up here that's down south now. Is Cyrus Satine.
Okay.
But he's going by Mark Ross. But yeah, good dude. Trained by Andrew. Good dude.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's worked for ACW and. Now he's doing other places too. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. I want to tell everybody that I want to put all his social media links down here. What I'll do is I'll have him. He's already said what he's got. And what I'll do is I'll have him send it to me. Right. You can just send it to me. And then what I'll do is I'll put links down in the description.
Yeah. I'll send them to you.
And what'll happen is you guys can go in the description. You can click that stuff and go right over there instead of going, going over to Twitter and going at whatever, and having to try to remember, because I know I ain't going to remember, no disrespect, but I mean, we're humans. We have very bad memories sometimes. Right. So especially in Michigan where pot's legal. So,
that's why you were eating those edibles, right?
Yeah, hey, absolutely, man. I got back pain.
The herbal refreshment.
Yeah, I got back pain, man. Back pain.
You're like, oh, don't worry. This is just a little work relaxer from work.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Dude, I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight, man. It's been a really awesome interview. One of these days I'll have to come over and do a show with you on your thing. And
yeah.
And we'll have you. And one of these days we'll definitely have to meet for real, like in
face to face, man.
Not like, in through this world. But
I know it's like, yeah, it's like a virtual high five.
yeah. Wow. You know. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, man. If you ever want me to come back on, dude, it was a pleasure, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to do things I'm a little out there sometimes.
Hey, I think we're all out there a little bit, though.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that, though, right?
Oh, I'll tell you who's a little out there too. Is that pretty little cycle, Shauna Reed? You don't know what's Yeah, you don't know what's coming out of her mind.
Oh Lord! All right, guys, make sure you smash the thumbs up, and make sure that you check out Robyn Nelson Wrestle Popcast and everything else that he does beyond the bell. And what was the paranormal one?
Yeah, it's Beyond the Bells on Future Great Wrestling. You can check out their new episodes, the best of, right now, every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on their YouTube channel. Nice. Subscribe and you'll get some great content of Future Great Wrestling. And my paranormal podcast is Robyn Nelson Files 13.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right. And he'll send me the info in the description. Yep. Click it, follow, subscribe, listen, download, share.
This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage.